Hello guys! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Anay Gupta and I'm so glad to have you here today. Just a few days ago, I received my AS level exam results. That morning, when I walked into that room to collect my mark sheet, I was understandably very nervous. On top of that, the professor really kept a very cool poker face. However, when I got closer to him and extended my arms to collect that mark sheet, he embraced me in a big, fat bear hug. I was stunned. I had just scored a world topping score of 100% in my AS level mathematics exam. Now the news spread like wildfire, and I spent the next hour basking in congratulations from my schoolmates and my teachers. However, once all that adrenaline had subsided, I sat with myself in a corner and let out tears of relief. I reminisced and rejoiced about the past year that had been, the exhilarating journey that was laced with challenges, and I just made sense of all the strategies, all the moments, all the highs, all the lows, everything that had gone right, everything that could have gone wrong, and I just felt so grateful in that moment. However, I took a glance at people around me. Some were happy, some were sad, some were very sad. And I was made to realize the fact that okay, everyone worked hard till an extent. Maybe I worked harder than some, maybe I worked less harder than some. But it was really my strategies and my approach to the examinations that stood out the most in those results. So, what worked for me? I've walked the CAIE path twice now and got success in both my endeavors. In my IGCSE exams, I scored two world topping performances with 8 A stars and an All India rank 3. My AS level exams, I scored all 5 A's in the high 90s with one world topping performance till now. So I see students around me know that there's something called the syllabus material, something called past papers, and that they need to utilize resources around them to study and prepare for the CAIE examinations. But it sometimes gets too overwhelming for them to combine all of these resources into a single study plan and execute it to perfection. Now, what I've done basically is broken down the CAIE exam into five simple stages that will serve as a definite pathway as a checklist as you plan your months ahead towards your CAIE examination. We call it the 5 stages to IGCSE success, or you could call it the 5 stages to CAIE success. I've already made part 1 out where we have discussed the first 2 stages of CAI success, absorption and retention, and rusty recall, where I taught you the correct way of learning a concept by curiosity and then revising a concept tailor made for the CAI exam approach. Now we get to stage 3, crammed compilation. So your syllabus at this stage would be all but done. You know the concepts and you also know how to present those concepts with keywords to fetch those marks in the exam. So, what is the basic need for this stage? The problem is that you mastered one concept maybe yesterday, but you mastered another one a few months ago or even potentially a year ago. All of that crammed in one little mind. Over time, some of those details might have leaked out of that brain, and all that remains now of that chapter is just fuzzy silhouettes of details, keywords, or even the concept as a block. To recollect all that forgotten work, this stage is essential to be done by you and you yourself. Here, we shall combine the entire syllabus into a string of notes that I refer to as the last minute revision guide, or LMR for short. Now, imagine yourself tensed and full of anxiety one day before your paper. You might forget a very few crucial details that could cost you a handful of marks. And when you're aiming for the top scores or the perfect scores, you cannot afford to lose out on such marks. And therefore, it is imperative to have everything cluttered together in one single place. The key idea to making these notes is a little counterintuitive. Here, we include all the details, and I repeat, all the details, be it the keywords, the definitions, the golden phrases from Rusty Recall stage, the exceptions, any mistakes you made in the Rusty Recall stage, anything you might want yourself to remember one day before the examination. Every little detail must be stuffed in your LMR as pieces of wisdom. In this, the key idea is to eliminate all jargon, all unnecessary examples, all unnecessary practical details in a theory booklet so that you just have all the information that you would need to answer a CAIE exam paper. And you have acquired those keywords, those little gems in the Rusty Recall stage. Moving on, you may choose to create separate set of notebooks for vast and heavy subjects, but work with separate strands of paper that serve as flashcards for lighter components such as the ATP paper. If your textbook material coincides with the wording of the mark scheme, you can take a copy of that and find it useful to highlight and annotate on that itself. For example, in my case, I made separate notebooks for IGCSE biology and AS level chemistry. I found out that while the textbooks were to an extent useful in understanding the concepts, the wordings of the textbooks did not really match the wordings of the mark scheme, and they did not really cover the scope of all questions that I encountered in my Rusty Recall stage. So, to eliminate all uncertainties, I put down all the questions I encountered in my Rusty Recall stage along with a little bit of keywords and theory sprinkled in here and there in my LMR with all the diagrams so that I could find everything about the chapter in just one place one day before the examination. With physics, the thing that haunted me were the longer answer questions where I had to write answers and worry about keywords being put in the right place. But fortunately, I found out that the Cambridge University Press textbooks had a lot of matching material with the textbook keywords. And so I just highlighted those keywords on a copy of the textbook to eliminate all the unnecessary jargon, all the unnecessary explanation that wouldn't be helpful to write in an examination paper because I just have two lines and I have to ensure that both of my keywords fit in those lines in proper sentences. Stage 4, Practice Frenzy. Long story short, here we grind through past papers. You've learned your concepts, you've solved topical past paper questions, and you have also made your own notes. It's time to put it all to test. Here is where the real magic happens. The key here is volume and consistency. The more past papers you solve, the better you are adapted to understanding paper patterns as a whole, to understanding question styles, and also at mastering your time management. When you're working with these papers, focus on simulating exam conditions as closely as possible. Set a timer, avoid all distractions, and work with the questions as you would on any given exam day. This practice helps you to refine your approach and also build your confidence. A pro tip from my side: during a past paper, if you encounter a question that you're unable to solve, don't be tempted to immediately check the mark scheme and verify the answer for that question. Instead, meddle with that question. Try to come up with an educated guess. And still, if you're unable to solve it, move on to the next question with the emotional stress of not being able to answer that previous question. You need to be able to deal with that emotional stress, with that emotion, with that guilt, and still be able to come up with your best in all the other questions that follow. It is also crucial to understand and learn the way of answering weird questions, some googlies, some little traps that the examination throws at you. For instance, Have you learned to describe the graph in a biology examination? Or have you understood the suggestion questions in an ATP paper? Have you understood the precautions in a practical paper? So, all of those details that are not present in your syllabus core material, you must be able to understand that via the past paper frenzy cycle. Oof, you read CAI like a book. But it's not game over yet. Now we reach stage 5. Collect, recollect, and consolidate. First, take a deep breath and congratulate yourself. You've made it to the last 1 month with extreme caution, with putting in the hard hours, burning the midnight oil, and with this level of dedication to your CAI exam. But this is the last stretch. This is paramount, and this is what makes winners and breaks losers. This is where you need to compile yourself, compose yourself, and consolidate all your information and your efforts to prime yourself to be the best version on exam day. Start by revising your notes. Start by opening your LMR and going through each and every keyword, each and every detail, each and every mistake you're susceptible to making in the moments of anxiety. Now, it's important to find the correct balance between working hard, between revising, and between taking care of yourself both physically and mentally. Eat well, sleep well, take good rest, and do things that make you happy. Try to meditate, try some yoga, you can take a short walk outside, you can try some deep breathing techniques, whatever calms your mind. But I know how much ever we try to compose ourselves, there will be moments of anxiety, there will be moments of self doubt, and there will be moments where you black out. There will be times where you just can't grasp things. There will be times when you feel that you aren't the same person you were 1 month ago, and there will be times you will question your preparation and even the future performance that you're about to deliver. But it is this time when you need yourself the most. It is this time when you need to trust yourself the most, because winners trust their preparation. Winners believe in themselves and they believe in the karma of their hard work that they have put in over the last 4 stages. They know that their performance is not by chance, it is what they have earned over time. So, the only thing you can do is to just sit back and not study when you don't feel like it at this stage. You've been pushing your limits for the last year or so, and this is the time where you take a step back, compose yourself, and do things that make you happy. Because at the end of the day, a calm mind is better than a stressed one. Winners and losers are not decided on the day of the results. They are decided in two crucial moments on exam day. One, when you enter the exam hall, and two, when you leave the exam hall. When you enter the exam hall, if you can proudly say that you are confident and satisfied with your preparation and hard work, and your commitment to the exam was honest, then you've done all that you could have done in your power to prepare for the examination. And while leaving the exam hall, if you feel that you have given your best attempt in the circumstance of the examination, then you primed for getting a high score. No one stopping you from that. I'll tell you a very true story. I was quite dejected after my first language English paper 2 because I felt I hadn't done justice to my argumentative essay. However, call it destiny, call it the forces of nature, or call it my preparation, I still managed to get an A star in my first language English paper. So, trust me on this, if you've been honest with the 4 stages and also been strategic about the fifth one, then there's nothing stopping you from getting your A stars. Alright guys, before we end this video, let me give you a rough timeline as to how to structure these 5 stages of IGCSE or CAIE success. So first up, for my IGCSE exams in Feb March 2023, I finished all my syllabus content up till the August of 2022. That was my grade 10. So stage 1 and stage 2 that ran concurrently was done from somewhere in grade 8 to the August of grade 10. Stage 3 began in the summer of grade 10 and I completed almost all of it in the September of grade 10. Stage 4, that was the past paper grind, began in September itself and it ran up till December, wherein I solved upwards of 500 past papers in total. The last month, I gave myself to composing and just preparing myself for exam day, which was stage 5. Okay, so that's all for today. If you found this initiative useful, then please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. All the best. Bye bye.